Greetings, Salvationists and friends of the Salvation Army here in Belize. I am Major Kelman, District Officer for the Salvation Army, and I would just like to share some information with you. And let me start off by reading one verse of a song from our Salvation Army songbook. And this verse says, "Servant of God, well done. Rest from thy loved employ. The battle fought, the victory won. Enter thy master's joy." In the Salvation Army, when someone dies, a Salvation Army a soldier, any member, we say the person has been promoted to glory because we expect that the person has been living a faithful Christian life, and as they keep being promoted in different levels in the Salvation Army, we see death as passing on to the greatest promotion ever, and we want to focus on a daughter of the soil, and her name is Major Hazel Buckley, Major Hazel Pyle, née Buckley. So she originally was Hazel Buckley when she left the shores of Belize to become a Salvation Army officer. Major Hazel Buckley got married to Major Joshua Randall Pyle, and who was from Panama, and they served in this Caribbean territory and also in the United States, and they served until retirement. Major Joshua Pyle was already promoted to glory just a few years ago, but now Major Hazel Buckley being promoted to glory or as you would say, she died, passed away, on September the 16th. Now, let's refer to her as Major Pyle, Mrs. Pyle, because I know her from the time I was a junior soldier in Barbados. She and her husband were divisional leaders there, so I have a strong connection with her. Mrs. Pyle is actually the sister of our own well-known Major Alice Buckley. They are sisters. Remember I said she is Major Hazel Idly Louise Pyle, and her maiden name was Buckley. And so there are a number of them in that family. The majority of the relatives are living in Belize, but she spent most of her time out of Belize, never worked there. And so the family, her children in Antigua and United States, are now connecting with the relatives here in Belize. We salute Major Hazel Buckley Pyle, who served with distinction for many years, especially across the Caribbean territory. She has 4 children, the oldest son being Anthony, and the second one, Robert, who is a Salvation Army officer. The third being Althea, the only girl among the boys, and the last one being Eduardo. Eduardo and Althea visited Belize when they were very, very, very small and have vague memories of the place. But this is the life of a Salvation Army officer. We hardly know if we will ever return home, and many of you would not know about Major Pyle. I was privileged to have met Major Ellen Green. Some of you may have met her. She's a Belizean officer, now retired, I believe she was from North Side. Then you also had Major Violet Stain, who was promoted to glory. Major Stain lived into the almost the 90s, and she lived in Jamaica. Met her also, and Major Gladys Lucario. These are Major Lucario also promoted to glory just recently, 2 years ago. And these were some strong, hard-working Belizean Salvation Army officers who have represented Belize well over the years. Right now, Major Ellen Green now is probably the only one from this batch from a long time ago. Along with, of course, our own Major Buckley, Major Hortense Tennyson, and Major Errol Robert too. These officers and several others have represented Belize well. Now, the funeral service for Major Hazel Pyle, née Buckley, will take place in Antigua this coming Wednesday, October the 14th, at 11 o'clock Belize time. I will post a link for this funeral so that you can tune in and we can give our support to those on the mother's side, those on the father's side. We continue to pray for them, and I will follow up also with greater information about this life and service of Major Hazel Pyle. You know, as I just called her name, you know, I think of her passion in ministry. It's one thing when you actually know a person and have been acquainted and serve under the ministry of that person. And again, I offer condolences to the family here and the family Antigua and wherever they may be on the passing of Major Hazel. And we offer our prayerful support for them as they go through this time of bereavement. May God continue to bless us all as we continue to serve Him as long as we have our breath. Blessings.
Major Retired Hazel Idoli Louisa Pyle, affectionately known as Mama, of No. 4 Cassatha Garden, St. John's, Antigua, honored retired pastor of the Salvation Army, entered rest peacefully at the age of 87. She was the widow of Major Joshua Randolph Pyle, daughter of the late Hubert Augustus Buckley and Catherine Elizabeth Goff, beloved wife of the late Major Joshua R. Pyle, devoted mother of Randall, Major Robert Pyle, Althea Georges, Eduardo Pyle, cherished grandmother of Philip and Ianthe Georges, Randall, Xavier, Hazley, Princess, and Sekelia Pyle, great-grandmother of Isaiah, Zariah, and Josiah Pyle, sister of Ben McCoy, Sonia Augustus, Elra Reeds, Gladys Buckley, and Major Alice Buckley, and the late Benjamin, Hyacinth, Kenneth, Herbert, Hilda, and Joseph Buckley, nieces and nephews too numerous to mention. Respected mother-in-law of Jacqueline, Paula, Nishika, and Nina Pyle, relative of the Pyles and Buckley's families and others in Belize, Panama, and the USA. Devoted friend of Mrs. Ada Boswell and family, Majors Wilshire, Beryl Scotland, Major Rapley, Major Yearwood, Mr. Paddy Benjamin and family, and neighbor Mr. Humphreys and family, comrades of the Salvation Army, St. John's Citadel, family, and many others too numerous to mention. Special thanks to her caregivers, Dr. Christian, Dr. Cox, Dr. Dow, and the staff at the Premier Senior 24/7 Nursing Home, Clear Hall Clinic, also the St. Vincent de Paul Daycare for the elderly. The funeral for the late Major Retired Hazel Idoli Louise Pyle leaves Barnes Funeral Home on Wednesday, October 14, 2020 at 12:40 p.m. For the Salvation Army, St. John's Citadel Court Church, Long Street, St. John's, where relatives and friends were asked to meet for a service of thanksgiving and praise to celebrate her life. Tributes before the service begins at 1 p.m. The cortege will then proceed to the St. John's Public Cemetery for interment. Online condolences may be sent to email address eduardopyle@gmail.com. That's Eduardo, EDUARDOPYLE @gmail.com. May her soul continue to rest in peace.